Hello, and welcome to Socially Holistic Podcast. Socially Holistic helps coaches and holistic entrepreneurs and women in heart-centered businesses make sense of social media so they can build their own online network and get more clients. As a heart-centered business owner, you do amazing work. Holly's mission in life is to help you help more people. Help us help more women in business with a 5-star review of this podcast. Please leave one today over at iTunes. The more women who find out about this podcast, the more heart-centered businesses will be successful. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Socially Holistic Podcast, episode 40. This is your host, Holly Wharton, and I'm here with today's very special guest, Alex Beadon. Alex is a business and marketing expert, and she's also the creator of the School of Killer Impressions. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you, especially with your new shift in your business.
So exciting.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, because you did go through a major business change at the end of last year, beginning of this year.
Yes, I did. Okay, so it's kind of a long story, but I'll try and keep it short and simple for you. I graduated from university and suddenly came to the realization that I had to find a job very, very quickly. And the thought of having to go work for a big corporation, be stuck in a cubicle, kind of made my soul cry a little bit, and I really didn't like the idea of it at all. So at the time, I was obsessed with photography, and my mom was kind of like, you know, you love it so much, why don't you do it full time? So she started sending me all of these links and really trying to encourage me to at least think about, you know, being a professional photographer. And so when I started seeing all of these photographers who were doing so well, I saw Laura Ferreira, who's based in Trinidad, and I saw Jasmine Starr, who's in the States. And I just thought, wow, this is great that these women are able to do what they love full time, and that's what I really want to do too. So I started to basically just blog nonstop because I thought that would be the best way to get new clients. And I started to grow a following as a photographer, and soon I found myself getting to that stage where I was becoming very successful, and I was able to I started to create these Photoshop actions. And I don't know if you know what Photoshop actions are, but they basically allow you to edit a photograph very quickly. So you know on Instagram they have like those filters at the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's exactly like that, but for Photoshop. So I was making them for myself. And one day my boyfriend encouraged me. He was like, you should try selling those online. So I started selling those online and just became addicted to how wonderful it was to be able to create a product, put it online and sell it, and not have to put in any additional work into the product itself because I could sell it to as many people as I wanted to. So it was a drastic difference from photography where obviously there's only one of me. I can only be in one place at one time. Mm-hmm. So there was always like a cap as to how much money I could make. Whereas with this, the possibilities really seemed endless. So that idea of selling things online and building a name for yourself online and marketing yourself and being able to do what you love, that really, really appealed to me. So I started to go into that direction. That was about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that was my entire business. I continued to do that. I was selling these Photoshop actions and continuing to help photographers more and more when I suddenly came to the realization that what I found myself being most drawn to helping people with was their business and how to market themselves online and create a name for themselves and really get the types of clients that would love and appreciate their business and become raving fans. Because I think there's a difference between attracting clients who are just with you because you have a low price, mm-hmm. or maybe you're the only one in the area, and then attracting clients who are really attracted to you as a person and to your business and feel that genuine attraction to you and connection to you. And so once I realized that this was something that I was actually really good at, and once I saw that I was helping all of these people, at the time it was for free just via email. People were asking for advice and I was helping them online like that. And then I started to think to myself, you know, I could turn this into a school mm-hmm. where I teach people how to build a brand, how to market themselves, and really how to get clear on the people that they're trying to reach so that they can create those customers and attract those customers to their business who are really going to feel absolutely amazing about doing the business that they're doing, and also allow them to reach new levels of their businesses profit-wise and the value that they bring to people and the effect that they have on the world. So that's where I'm at now. So I just made the transition into a business and marketing and branding expert online, and it's been so wonderful. I can't tell you. It's so funny because I always tell people, you have to get clear on what you're doing and what you're offering. As soon as I changed over my website, and as soon as I got really clear on that, so many more doors have opened for me, and I've had so many more opportunities that I never would have had before. And it was hard. I think a lot of people don't understand when you make a change like that. It's so, I felt so defined by my photography that it felt almost crippling to leave it all behind in a way. And I think a lot of people experience that if they're leaving their full-time job and, trying to start their own business. It's really hard to make that transition. But as soon as you make it, it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's so hard for some people to leave behind what they know because it's comforting. You know it. You have the experience.
Exactly. It's that comfort zone. I'm always talking about comfort zones, and that's exactly what it is. And the funny thing is, a lot of times when you're comfortable and you're in that comfort zone and you don't want to leave it and you feel that resistance to try something new, you don't even realize that it's because you're so comfortable where you're at. So it was definitely eye-opening for me, and it's just been a really exciting journey.
I remember seeing you back when you had your Photoshop actions and things, and I remember seeing that, your website, you had all these videos that were about business and marketing, and I remember thinking, how interesting. She's got all these marketing videos, and yet she's selling Photoshop actions.
Yeah, and actually, it after such a long time of making all of these business and marketing videos, which at the time, my thought process was, this is helping photographers, this is attracting photographers who will then end up buying Photoshop actions, etc., etc. But now looking at it, I'm like, the entire message of my website was so unclear. And even though it was doing well, it was still so unclear. So now I'm really excited to have this clear message that I'm able to take forward. I think it's really giving people a really clear idea of who I am and what I do.
And I think that's so important because then the second people arrive at your website, they know exactly what you do and whether or not you might be right for them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So one of the things that I love about you and your business is that you do so many videos.
Yeah.
And I think so many people shy away from videos because they think, oh my God, I have to get this set up and these lights and all this stuff. But I feel like you've gotten to the point where you've done so many of them, you're really in the flow with videos.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about what's your process of creating videos? Is it really all that difficult, or is it quite easy to put together?
Well, I think it's as difficult or as easy as you want to make it. I think really a lot of people shy away from video because they have this idea in their head that it has to be complicated and that it has to be perfect. And I think for me at least, what helped me really find a flow and really get into it was just acknowledging that every week is not going to be perfect. I don't have a huge team working. Right now it's just me. So sometimes it might be amazing, and sometimes it might just be my laptop camera, and that's cool with me. I think the point for me is just to deliver high quality value every single week, and that does take preparation, and that does take hard work. So it's not to say that it's easy, but I just love video. I think when you watch a video, you connect with that person so much more. You get to know that person so much more. It's more memorable. You can read a blog post. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I skim through blog posts like it's my business. I mean, I look at a blog post, I'm skimming through it, I'm gone. I'm looking through the next one, I'm on to the next one, on to the next one. Whereas with videos, it's more like, you have to sit down and watch the whole thing. And I like that you have to hold more of that attention. So it's still something that I'm working on perfecting, but it's something that I absolutely enjoy. I think once you get into the hang of it, once you get used to pressing that publish button, and actually, to be honest with you, the best thing about video for me has been watching myself speak. Because when you think about it, you never really watch yourself speak or listen to yourself speak. You do, because you're on a podcast all the time. But I think it's really good to see yourself from someone else's perspective and to really see, oh, do I speak too fast? Do I say too many times? it's been really great to watch my very first video and compare it to my later videos and see that there's such a transformation. So it's really great. Oh, my dog's barking.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
Well, I think one of the most important things that you just said is that the content and the quality of the content is the most important part. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the content needs to be good.
It doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point of it is to connect with whoever it is that you're trying to reach. So whoever your target market is, and you really want to just deliver as much value as you possibly can to them so that they remember you and so that they can build that relationship with you and connect with you and trust you. So that's what it's all about for me.
And I think videos are such an ideal way of people for getting a real feel for you and your energy and your style and your personality.
Yeah.
Because it just shines so much more on a video than it does on a blog post. I mean, you can express a lot through a blog post, but video is just, it's audio, it's visual, it's...
Yeah, it takes it to the next level. And I think there's so many different ways to be creative with video. And I don't even think that as an industry, we've like scratched the surface of how to use video to your advantage when it comes to business and really developing those relationships with your customers. So that's something that I'm really interested in exploring more of, and something that I'm constantly thinking, how can I kind of think outside of the box with this, and how can I connect with them more? So I think it definitely allows a lot of creativity as well. And if you look at it as something to be excited about and as something to get creative with and as something to enable your business to get to that next level and to make those deeper connections, it can actually be really fun, and it doesn't have to be intimidating or overwhelming,
Now, for someone who's still got that kind of video phobia, what would you recommend that they try if they just wanted to get started with a simple video? Would it be using their webcam, their iPhone? What would you recommend as like a quick, easy first time?
I would say the most important thing, this is going to sound really strange, is to find a big window that has a lot of natural light, stand right in front of it, because to me, a video has to have good lighting, and that is like the best secret that I could ever give. I get these emails. It's like, oh my gosh, the lighting in your videos are so amazing. What do you use? And I'm like, my window.
Yes, but I think you also live in Florida, which has a lot of natural sunshine.
True. That's true. But really, all you need is good natural light and you are good to go. I remember when I was in England and I was making videos, I would really struggle with finding good light, and I'd always have to wait for the sunnier days. And that's not even to say that there were many of those, because we all know British weather is very unpredictable.
I know, and that's my problem personally with videos, because I'd made this, goal to do a video, I think it was last month, and it was February in England, and I kept waiting for the sun to come out, and of course it wasn't coming out.
Yeah, so. It never comes out. It never does. But you know what I would tell you then? I would tell you to buy a good cheap light and just use that, because it really does make such a difference, and it's easier on the eyes for the viewer to be able to look at you and see you properly, and it really builds a connection better if they can see you better. So that's probably my main tip. And also, don't get too caught up in what you're using or what technology or whatever. As I said, like I've used my laptop camera many times when I don't have the time or the energy to take out my big camera and set everything up. So yeah, don't be intimidated. Just do it. Just have fun with it and be yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, because again, if you're feeling awkward or nervous, it's going to shine through in the video.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the other things that I like that you mentioned was that when you first started building your business, you saw blogging as a really important part of building your business online and getting customers. And I see that you were mentioned as one of ProBlogger's 15 bloggers to watch in 2013. That's pretty amazing. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So how did you get to the point where you really harnessed the power of blogging and built that community around your blogging? What do you think were the top things that you did that really helped you with that?
I blogged every day for a long time. I was blogging each and every single day. And I remember I had a friend who was like, something was happening that day and I hadn't blogged yet. And I told him, I was like, I have to go home and blog. And he was like, why are you blogging every day? Like, no one's reading. Why do you care? And at the time, I was like, I can't believe, like his comment really hurt me. I was like, I can't believe that he would even say that, because obviously in my mind, I have this big grand vision and he doesn't see it. But to really have the dedication to blog, and it doesn't have to be every day, just regularly, to be able to have the time, because I had a lot of time back then to spend a lot of time commenting and really communicating with the people who were on my site. And I think that was pretty much it. And obviously the more you do something, the better you get at it. When I first started, I probably was not the best blogger in the world, but the more you write, the better of a writer you become. And I think as well, just being vulnerable and being real with people. People really enjoy connecting with honest people, and they don't want to feel like you're selling to them, and they don't want to feel like, you know, they want to feel like you're their friend, you know, and at least for me, that's what's really worked, is focusing on treating all of my customers and my audience as though they are my very best friend. And that goes, my dog is kind of going crazy, so if you hear growling in the background, that's what it is. But yeah, so that concept of treating your audience and your readers as though they're your best friends, that carries throughout everything from my blog to, I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And basically, I've had so many people say, Alex, you are crazy for allowing them 30 days, because all of my products are digital products. So when they buy it, they keep it. I mean, it's not like they can return it.
Right.
But for me, it's like, you know, if my best friend bought something and from me and she didn't like it, I wouldn't want her to be out of pocket just because, you know, it's a digital product. I don't care. If you're not going to use it, you can have your money back and keep the product.
Yeah.
So
I think that's such a
blogging, weren't we?
We were, but that's
totally
fine.
went off topic.
No, but I think that's such an important way to instill confidence in people and trust, because they know that you're not just trying to get their money, that you're genuinely trying to help them and be of service.
Exactly. And that's another big thing with blogging. I think a lot of people don't realize that it's so important to have your reader in mind while you're writing. Unless you're writing like a personal blog, that's something that's totally different, and you're not trying to build an audience, that's fine. But for me, as someone who has a business, but someone who wants to blog as a way to communicate with my audience, connect with my audience, it's really important for me to do that. To connect with them as, you know, person to person, as if they're my friend.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that you talk about on your website is how to have your customers or your clients fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And is that one of your main tips, is to treat them as your best friend?
Yeah. And also, it's so important to know exactly who you're trying to reach out to and who your ideal customer is and why they should care about you. And a lot of times, and this is something that comes up in the School of Co-Impressions a lot, and we just did like an entire topic about this, because I have weekly happy hours with them. So it's like a live session, a webinar type thing where they ask questions and things like that. And something that often comes up is, you know, you as a business owner know that you're trustworthy. You know that, right? Like, you know that people can trust you. You know that you're not trying to screw anyone over and all of that good stuff. But the person who comes to your website and is meeting you for the first time doesn't know that to them, you're just a total random stranger. So a lot of times it's more to do with how you're communicating, like, that trust to them. And it's, again, in things like, you know, offering a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's in things like, you know that you can trust me because you know that every Tuesday and every Thursday there's going to be a video from Alex Beadon, and I know that she's trustworthy. It's in little things like that and communicating that trust with them. So I think little things like that go a long way with making your customer fall in love with you, and also just knowing that your brand has a message. And like, for example, for me, my entire brand's message is I want to inspire people to do what they love and to be able to do it full time. So the main people that I focus on are people who are either at full-time 9 to 5 jobs, who really want to start their own business, or maybe they're students who are about to graduate and really want to get something up and running so that by the time they leave, they can. My dog is just going crazy. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
So it's really knowing who you're trying to talk to and to be able to communicate to them in a way that they're going to respond to and in a way that's going to be meaningful to them.
I think one of the really important things that you just said was about how people trust you to deliver those videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and that regularity is something that helps build trust in them. And I think that's something that so many people don't recognize, that by showing up on a regular basis, by being regular, by sharing your content on a regular basis, that is helping instill trust in people.
Exactly. And isn't it funny how it's something so simple as just showing up, like you said, like that's it. You just have to be there, show up, do what you say you're going to do, follow through, and you have a winner.
So one of your products that you have online is, it's called Web Presence Revolution. I was just checking that out. One of the top questions you ask on your sales page, and I love this, is, do you suffer from web shame?
Yeah.
So how would you describe web shame? Because I'm sure some of our listeners are experiencing it.
Yes, web shame is when you have an idea of how you want to be perceived online and you know that you're definitely not being perceived up to that standard. So, maybe your website doesn't look as great as you'd like it to look. Maybe you don't have a profile picture that is actually very impressive or that you feel proud of. It basically means that if someone asks you, what do you do? Or let me check out your website. You'd be like, it's not ready yet. I'm not really proud to share it with anyone. So I think when you really have web confidence, when you're really able to proudly share your website and be like, bam, here's my site, check it out. That's what I want to create for people. That's what I want to help guide people with. And also, a lot of people have websites that they think are, awesome, and maybe they are awesome, but they're not translating into sales. And so that's another part of it, is knowing that even though something may look awesome, it may not have certain little tricks and certain little conversion tactics that are going to help you bring people through the door and make more sales.
And I think that's so important, because unless you have a great deal of experience in online marketing and having, a website that converts, that's just not knowledge that we're born with.
Yeah, it's not something that you think about, and it's no one's fault. And luckily, it's something that can be learned, so it's not that hard.
So could you tell
Everything can be learned. That's what I always say, and that's why it's so exciting. That's why I love doing what I do, because I love learning more. I love teaching people. The more I teach, the more I learn. The more we all grow. So,
and I think that's one of the great parts of being a solopreneur, is that you have to learn so much. I mean, you've got to learn business skills, you've got to learn marketing skills, and it's just such a great learning experience and also personal development experience, because you have to get past a lot of your stuff to be able to put yourself out there. I was just
going to say that. It's so funny that you said that, because it really, building your own business, and especially your own online business, it makes you stare yourself right in the face. And you learn so much about yourself, and you grow so much through it as well. So it's funny that you said that, because I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, I think so many people have just so many fears about whether it's putting up their first website or getting started on social media. I was just talking to someone the other day who said that one of her clients set up her LinkedIn profile, but she wouldn't put a photograph up because she didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny, because the question that I get asked a lot by people I meet, by my friends, are, they think I'm crazy that I'm putting stuff out there into the world, and that my name is literally attached to everything, and you can Google me, and there it is, right there. And some of them are like, isn't that so embarrassing? And honestly, at this stage in the game, I'm like, I don't care what anyone has to say. I don't care how many people make fun of me. I don't care how many bad comments there are at the bottom of my YouTube page. I am bulletproof right now. I'm just doing my thing. If you like it, come join me. If you don't, then you don't have to watch.
Exactly.
And it's really powerful when you get to that stage, because it took me a while to get to this, I really don't care kind of mindset, because there was a point when I was like, oh my gosh, someone said something negative. But now, when someone says something negative, I do a mini celebration dance. I'm like, this must mean something good, because I'm obviously reaching a large amount of people. So.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. If you try to water yourself down and appeal to everyone, you're going to end up appealing to no one. So if you just do your thing in your style, the way you want to, people are going to self-select. If they love you, they're going to join you. And if they don't love you, then they're not for you, and they're not your ideal client.
Exactly. Oh, you speak the truth. You speak the truth. It makes me so happy to hear you say that and that's such a big section of the School of Killer Impressions as well that we go through. I'm like, if you're trying to attract everyone and if you're trying to appeal to everyone, you are appealing to no one because no one wants a boring messenger. Everyone wants someone to believe in. Everyone wants someone to relate to, and you can't relate to people if you're trying to make everyone like you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so important. So, could you tell us a little bit more about your School of Killer Impressions? That's an online program, correct?
It is an online program. It is an 8-week online program, and it's all about helping people make killer impressions with their business. And a killer impression is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's an impression that is so good, it's like unforgettable, and as soon as you see this business, it blows your socks off, and you know you're in the right place, and there's like hallelujah angels singing in the background. So those are the reactions that I really want to help people create in their customers. And it really starts from potential customers. So the people who are visiting your website for the first time, we want to set everything up so that as soon as the right person, and like we just said, it's not everyone. As soon as the right person comes, they're like, yes, I'm in the right place. I found the business that's for me. So that's what it's really all about.
So could you share, I know this is an 8-week program, there's so much juicy information in that. Could you share a couple of your top tips for how people can make a killer impression online?
I would love to. That sounds like a great idea. So the first thing that I would say, and this is something that I hammer on about over and over again, but it's because lots of people skip it or they think it's not really that important, so whatever. But the first thing is clarity. And that's clarity on who you're selling to. That's clarity on what you're selling. I have a friend who just opened her own business, which is awesome. I love when friends open businesses. I'm all on them. I'm like, hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Anyway, so she started her own business, and on the website she sells jewelry, throw pillowcases. She sells photography, design. There's a whole bunch of stuff that she sells. And for me, it's like, if someone is coming and they want wedding photography and they go to your page and they see all of this array of different services and products that you offer, they're going to be a little bit confused. Yeah. And a confused person always says no. They're not really going to dig any deeper because they don't really know what they're looking for in all of that mess. So getting really clear on what you're offering, what you're all about, who you're trying to get in touch with, that really will bring your business to that next level. And clarity just does wonders. I'm a firm believer in clarity, 100%. The second thing would have to be, this is a tough one, to choose my top 3. Well, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about the brand Bible. It's kind of a bigger topic that I can cover in full, but I'm just going to kind of give you the summary. So I strongly believe that every business should have a brand Bible, and a brand Bible is basically a compilation of all of the different entities of your brand. So, for example, one part of the brand Bible are brand models. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So, when you have a brand model is basically someone that you can look up to from a brand perspective. And you look at their brand and their business, and you look at everything that they're doing, and you can say, okay, this really inspires me. How can I use how they're inspiring me as their customer, and how can I inspire my customers in a similar way? So, for example, I don't know if you've watched the Virgin America in-flight video that they've recently done.
No, I haven't.
Have you? Oh my gosh, you have to go and see it. It is the best thing ever. It has almost 9 million views now.
Oh, wow.
And so basically, when you go into an airplane and you sit down and they show you the in-flight video, and it's like, you should buckle your seatbelt and you should look out for all the exit signs, and it's literally the most boring thing you've ever seen. Right, well, Virgin America decided that they were going to reinvent the in-flight video, and their video is just amazing. They have dancing and singing and robot. It's just incredible, and it's so entertaining, and you can't help but watch it even when you're not in flight. I watch all the time. It's so much fun. So it's just a fun way to do something that's normally so boring. And for my business, it really inspired me to say, okay, how can I take something that usually in my industry is so boring and try and turn it into something that's exciting and something that gets people's attention and something that's talked about and a little bit fun and funky. So different things like that. I compile it all into this big brand Bible, and that's just one part. There's like 7 or 8 different parts. And so that's another thing that I really, really love using to create a killer impression, because whenever you make any decision in your business, you always have this brand Bible to turn to that you really go back to and say, okay, how can I create this and make sure that it's 100% in line with my brand and make sure that I have my people in mind while I'm creating it. So that's another thing that's really helpful.
Thank you.
I'm like drinking water over here. Okay, and my third tip would be marketing funnel.
Yep.
Most people don't think about this, and I don't know why, but it's super important. And that's basically just knowing where people are coming from, knowing how they're getting to your website, and making sure that every single step along that marketing funnel is as slippery as possible so that you're making it easy for the right people to get on your newsletter list, or whatever your goal is. You might have a different goal, but for me, I'm always trying to grow my newsletter list.
Yeah.
So really making sure that you have every single box ticked and making sure every single link is working and making sure that you're making it easy for them to get on your list. Because if you make anything hard, people aren't going to go that extra step for you. They just won't. So you want to make it super easy.
Exactly. I think that's so important. Is just make it as easy as possible for people.
Yeah. I always say you have to, sometimes, this sounds a little bit mean. I don't mean it in a mean way at all. But you have to treat people like they're maybe a toddler who needs their hand held, and you literally have to walk them through each step. And never think that, like, even something as small as like a call to action.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand the power of a simple call to action, how you can convert so many more people to click on a link if you include a call to action. So little things like that really make a big difference in your business.
Excellent. So, Alex, do you have any women business mentors? Are there any women in business who inspire you?
There are so many. Where to begin? Okay, first and foremost, I have to say that Oprah is like Wonder Woman. I just love her so much. Everything she does, I admire, and I just think she's an excellent businesswoman, and she's just amazing. So she's definitely on the top of my list. Another woman who inspires me is my mom, and that sounds very cliche, but she's taught me so much about focusing on small details and making sure that everything is as perfect as it can be. Like, my mom calls me up in the middle of the day, and she's like, "Hey, Alex." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "So, in your latest blog post, there was a misspelling." I'm like, "Thanks, Mom. I could change that now." She's so funny. So she's really inspired me to really look at the small details and make sure that everything from a big picture perspective looks awesome all the way through. Marie Forleo, how can I not mention Marie Forleo? She is, I think when I found her website about 2 years ago, it changed my life completely, because she was really the first person who I found doing the whole online marketing thing, and I had just started selling my Photoshop Action, so she really was one of the people who showed me the path, if that makes sense. Also, someone who I really, really love is Laura Ferreira and Jasmine Starr. Those are both photographers, both really great businesswomen in their own specific ways. And Jasmine, have you heard of Jasmine Starr?
No.
Oh my gosh, she's pretty awesome. She's pretty awesome. So she's a wedding photographer, but she also sells like a variety of different things to help photographers get their businesses up and running. And just watching how her business has evolved has really inspired me. So the list could go on and on. I'm just going to end it there. Those are 5 pretty amazing women.
Excellent. So, Alex, how can other women in business benefit from working with you? What would you recommend to them?
I would recommend that they go to my website, which is alexbeadon.com, and take a look at everything that's there that I have to offer. I have a lot of free videos that they can check out that I know a lot of people get a lot of value from. And if they want to take it a step further, they can get onto my VIP list.
Okay.
And that's going to make sure that they get all of my top news that only my VIP list gets. And of course, there's the School of Killer Impressions, but the School of Killer Impressions is really for the dedicated few who really want to take their business to the next level, who really want to focus in on the experience of their customer from the first day the customer lays eyes on the business through till they become a raving fan and they tell all of their friends and they're just your biggest cheerleader ever.
Excellent.
So, yes.
So where else can people find you online? What social sites are you on?
Oh, gosh. I'm pretty much on them all. But
Okay.
my favorite one has to be Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So Instagram.com/AlexBeadon. You can also find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Google+. You won't find me on LinkedIn. I don't know why. I just have not gotten into LinkedIn. I just can't. I don't know why. It's like just not my thing. I've tried. It's just not happening. So I'm going with the flow elsewhere.
It's very, very different. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I need some LinkedIn lessons. But yeah, as long as they just go to my website, alexbeadon.com, they'll be able to find me there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for your amazing advice and tips.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so in awe by everything that you're doing. And from the entire community, a huge thank you because I know how much time and effort that you put into all of these. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you for listening. And remember to visit socialholistic.com /SHP40 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Socially Holistic Podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. Please help us help more women in business by giving us a 5-star review of this podcast. The more women who find out about this podcast, the more successful businesses there will be. So please leave a 5-star review today over at iTunes. Thank you.